Hello, good people. Hello. Welcome back to another car conversation or episode of Make America Think Again, depending upon where you can hear my voice or see my face. And everybody join us over here on YouTube. Um, I want to talk about some other things that happened over this weekend. I didn't want to include it in the previous video because this heinous crime, heinous murder of Minnesota political leaders and representatives from the state of Minnesota over the weekend. Just unbelievable. But I want to have a conversation about it because I want us to really start talking about and thinking about how it's all connected and how it's not going to get any better until we get better, until we make a change. And so let me just dive into it. So we have this the assailant, the murderer, Vance Bolter, I believe is how his last name is pronounced. So he not only he planned the murder of several state and local officials in the state of Minnesota. As a matter of fact, in his manifesto, I believe they said that he had written about 45 different political leaders. I'm trying to find that information. I'm almost positive they said 45 were documented in this manifesto that they found for him, or that he had written. But let me just jump into the case and maybe it'll show up. Yes, 45 state elected officials were listed in this manifesto. He researched these people, he researched their families, where they lived. I don't know if he was researching like when kids go to school and or where they go to school. I don't know. All the details in this manifesto have not been made available yet, have not come out yet. But we do know that he was targeting 45 different political leaders in the state of Minnesota. And okay, so he shows up first at the home of Senator John Hoffman. He shows up, he has tricked out his SUV to look like a police vehicle. The plates have just police on it. He's put the lights on it. He shows up, he's dressed in body armor. He has camo, I think it was it, he has on the police body armor. He's also wearing some weird mask, some weird Michael Myers mask. It looks like to me, of course, the bulletproof vest that police officers wear, so the body armor with police written on it. So everything to make a person believe that he actually is part of the police department. Shows up, has the lights on, but just by himself, shows up to the house, rings the doorbell. I'm sorry, knocks on the door repeatedly, shouting, "This is the police, open the door. This is the police, open the door." Now, this is the account that John Hoffman and his wife have given to the police because they survived. Now, I believe between the two of them, they were shot about 17 different times between the two of them, but they survived. Last report I heard, John Hoffman has like a collapsed lung, but they are able to talk and they're communicating with people. And so we wish them well. We wish them full and complete healing. We wish them well and their families well. So he's knocking on the door repeatedly, shouting that he is the police. And then they come to the door. He shines a flashlight in their face and says that gunshots were reported coming from your home. And then he removes the flashlight from their face. And apparently, at that point in time, John Hoffman, they recognize that he's not an officer. They say, "You're not a police officer." He said, "This is a robbery." So he switches from we received a call about your home to a robbery, and then forces himself in and got a message there, forces himself into the home, and then he's shooting the parents. He leaves that home. goes to Maple Grove area. If any of you live in Minnesota, then you know, I don't know, but this is what was provided by the police. To the Maple Grove area to another state representative's home, and that person was not at home. And then he goes to a third home. This home is in a different area, the New Hope area of Minnesota. And he's now, after the first shooting, police have been dispatched because they are aware of this whole political climate that we're in. They dispatch people to officers to go and check out the homes of all of these state leaders. So he's in New Hope, and another officer has been dispatched, and he is, I think, sitting on that street. Yes, he's sitting on that street. And so the other officer pulls up. He's on the street in the tricked out SUV, has the lights on apparently. This other officer pulls up to him and rolls down her window and says, "Hey, you heard about, what's going on, blah, 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 blase, blase." And she says he doesn't respond at all. He just looks straight ahead. So again, the Mike Myers is giving Michael Myers from Halloween. But so he looks straight ahead and ignores her. And then at the same time or simultaneously, she sees other officers coming up. So she goes to talk to them. Then boom, Vance takes off. Vance goes to the fourth location. The fourth location is Melissa Hartman, Representative Melissa Hartman's home. And that's where and this is about 3:30 a.m. in the morning. And then this is where she and her husband are fatally shot. So yeah, more details will come out about this. I believe that he's supposed to be indicted later today, so we'll have more information. There's a 20-page affidavit according to this officer that gave this most recent press conference. But this individual had been planning this for months, apparently. This individual had a strike list of 45 state and local leaders. This individual also apparently had something against abortion clinics or organizations that were pro-choice. There were a lot of people that were on his hit list. As a matter of fact, I saw one other state leader. She was on MSNBC, I believe, and she said she spent the weekend in her basement. In her basement, people are being terrorized by individuals like this. Now, moving right along, over the weekend during the No Kings protest in Westchester, Pennsylvania, there was a dude who showed up to the protest, again, dressed like a police officer, and so impersonating a police officer, and he was carrying a vest full of ammunition. I don't know how it went down, how he got reported, but you can see video of him being stopped on the street by other officers. They open up the coat, and this dude has got a full jacket of ammunition. So what did he plan to do? And then about a week ago, week and a half ago, we had a person that was individual dressed up like the icy folks, and went into an establishment, tied a woman up, and robbed her, stole money from her. So yeah, I just wanted this case is so disturbing. It's so disturbing on so many levels. This individual, Vance Botler, I believe is how you pronounce his last name, had to have been, he had this manifesto, first of all. He's got 45 different people in it that he's tracking and stalking and preparing to unalive them. And then he goes and he's impersonating he's impersonating an officer down to tricking out his SUV to look like officers and a law enforcement vehicle. The work, the time, the energy that went into this is incredible. And then he also shows up in some weird Michael Myers mask. And you got people going to protest impersonating officers. You got people impersonating the icy folks now, because this is why it's so important. This is why it is so important. And this is why people have been screaming at the top of their lungs. These IT people must identify themselves. They must identify themselves. They need to take the mask off. If you are operating under the guidance of the law, you are doing exactly what you have been deputized to do. This is your work. This is what you were commissioned to do or being paid to do. Why are you hiding your faces? Why are you hiding your faces? Now, I'm not talking about HHS, Homeland Security. I'm not talking about FBI. I'm not talking like those folks. You see them plainly. You see them plainly. But these other people that are showing up where all you can see is their eyes, you can't even see the folks' freaking ears anymore. It's like up to their eyes with these masks and things. Here's what's getting ready to happen. People are going to start going with the notion that they have, first of all, you have every right to defend yourselves. If I don't know who you aren't identifying yourself. I can't even see your full face, and you're coming at me. I have every right to defend myself. And then also what's getting ready to happen, you're going to have a lot of people that start to act and ask questions later. Because with all this that's happening, and you got people at protests that are impersonating officers, you got people that are showing up as the icy folks, but we clearly know that you haven't run a mile to save you can run a mile to save your life. When's the last time you worked out? Like, we can tell you do not fit with law enforcement. So therefore, I don't know who you are. And you're not trying to identify yourself. You're not trying to pull your mask down. And you want me to go somewhere with you? I'm telling y'all, it's getting ready to get really ugly if some changes do not happen. And first needs to start with this administration. If you're going to contract these folks, if you're going to hire these folks, whatever, deputizing these folks, then they should be able to show their faces. They should be able to show their faces and give them something to identify themselves to the people that they're coming to pick up. Because it's just going to take that one person they run up on that's going to say, you know what? I don't know you. I have every right to defend myself. I feel like I'm being kidnapped, and I'm going to act accordingly in this moment and ask questions later.